Hey, what's up? I'm a diagnosed narcissist, but before I say the things that I'm going to say, keep in mind that I am not a licensed professional. So, with that out of the way, I've been thinking about how miserable I am. I mean, what else is new? I've been thinking about making a video as to why narcissists are incredibly draining kind of people. So, I would say you have that to look forward to, but more along the lines, I've been thinking more so about appreciation and I don't know, let's just say gratefulness and how I've always struggled with that for the rest of my life. And I have a little bit of a way to explain why that kind of goes about making this video. It's going to be, I don't know, kind of interesting, I suppose, because I don't know if anyone might see this and say that, oh, wow, I'm adding to the stigma myself, which is something that I never would intentionally, try to do, obviously. But appreciation is something that I've struggled with my entire life because if I'm being honest, I don't know if anything will ever be good enough for me in this life of just seeing how shallow, hollow, the emptiness inside of me, even, and I guess just how futile everything is in existence. And I was digging deeper into my thoughts as to why I would have a difficult time with appreciation or let's just say being grateful in general because I guess when you deal with a self-esteem that is so fragile or a sense of self that is like little to, none there whatsoever, I kind of go through this thing where subconsciously I view everybody as maybe an enemy, let's say. Like deep down within me, I'm always concerned that anybody that I deal with is just, a potential threat and whatnot. So I will admit that I do have this propensity perhaps to just see people in a opportunistic fashion or, in a very sort of like calculative sort of way because I see other people and I kind of just think to myself, what is it that I can get from you? What is it that you can you know, provide for me. And I don't know if it's a rationalization, but a lot of times I don't really feel bad about it because that's always just how I assume that everybody, works. I would think that people only stick around me because they get something out of me that they get, like, not like they don't get it from like anyone else, let's say. So I've always had a very transactional view towards relationships. So that's why I've never really wanted to deal with people being like, oh, you have no appreciation for what I do, this or that. And to me, it kind of does this like glitch in my system because I think to myself, like, why do I have to be grateful for anything? Like, human beings suffer on a daily basis. So who are you going to be? The taker or the one that gets, taken advantage of, let's just say, or stomped on, or whatever you want to call it. And as I go through my life, it does make relationships a bit difficult because I never, really know who to trust. And a lot of times when I think I'm giving myself to other people, it feels like I'm betraying myself, which is why I'm always at this like wrestling point where it's like I should be more grateful, I should be more appreciative for kind or like nice people, but it's hard for me to imagine that anybody would just do that simply just because they can. So I see people and it's always just like, what am I going to get from you? What am I going to like, take from you? And I don't deal with rejection really well because I guess, yeah, it's a fragility in self esteem and like, self regulation and like whatnot. So the only thing that I can do when things don't go my way is to just, I guess, like vilify everything else just so I feel better about myself, perhaps because I deflect any kind of criticism that I may receive. I, deflect any kind of notion for change that gets thrown at me because I always just rationalize to myself that like the ones complaining are, the ones losing, which is kind of ironic because I'm somebody that actually complains a lot. I'm somebody that actually sees the world with so much bitterness and scorn and quite a lot of like negative things to say about it. So I guess this is where you kind of see the split in my weak, fragile self esteem, because there's a very thin line that I guess, goes between my feelings of superiority and my feelings of like inferiority. And it's crazy how I like exist on a daily basis where it almost feels like a roll for the dice. I could be someone completely superior and think, oh, yeah, I deserve to just take and just reign and, have anything that I want. Whereas if in another moment I feel so low, I feel so victimized by the world, I feel like I'm the most miserable person on the planet and everything else just sucks. It ruins how I don't know, deal with myself, I guess, because I keep bouncing through this thing where if I start to feel more empathetic, if I start to feel more sympathetic, I'm betraying myself because I'm lowering myself to the ranks of people that are losers, people that are disgusting, people that are, you know, like not worth anything whatsoever. But then later on, when I feel like I'm winning and I'm getting what I need, when I'm getting like, I don't know, all these things that do anything to somewhat help my self esteem regulation, then I feel like I'm on top. But then again, I still realize just how completely lonely I am. And all this darkness, all this like emptiness is just here and there. So, yeah, I guess this is why having NPD and your relationships with people are like extremely difficult because you feel lonely or threatened while you're with other people and you want to believe that you're content with yourself and yet you're not. When I am with myself, yeah, I'm still lonely. I'm still nothing. I don't feel like anything in the slightest. And I keep looking back on all these states, and I never want the other side to be real. When I'm in my extreme mode of like self loathing and like I hate myself, it's crazy to me that I can even think that like I'm superior and I'm like way better than like everybody. When I am in that mode of like superiority and arrogance and thinking that I deserve everything, I'm entitled to whatever it is that I please, I I know deep down I don't actually feel that good because I hate myself. I hate myself for thinking back on all the moments of inferiority that I've ever felt. And I hate other people because I just see disgust. I just see, you know, a species that's, you know, a complete joke. So, yeah, I guess I'll just end it there, I guess, in saying that, um, yeah, I there's how it goes in terms of like why I might be ungrateful or why I might be like unappreciative, but this isn't necessarily with like the angle to like I guess quote unquote just like be sadistic, honestly. Like if I'm being honest about it, and that's why, this is the disorder in narcissistic personality disorder. I'm honestly just a miserable person. So that's why I'll always say, even when I consider like, oh, narcissistic abuse and like whatnot, nobody wins in this situation because we're all miserable.